Okay, so let's talk about lard and tallow uses, because I've made the lard and I've got a video to show of the tallow, which is done the same way essentially, except I rendered it down in a different method so it's not as detailed. But let's talk about the two uses of them, and do some looking at the lard and tallow here. Okay, so first, here they are side by side. Ain't much of a difference in the look of them. It's usually a little more of a yellow to the tallow at times, but not much difference in it. Now the difference comes in the taste. This is tallow. I just rendered this down. See, tallow, I haven't opened it or nothing yet, but it's in the jar here. Did it self-seal thing like I had talked about. This is lard in its solid form, and this is lard where it's warm and it's starting to get melty. So this shows you both of them. So this is your liquid lard up here, and then you got your solid down here, but it's where it's starting to melt because it was exposed to some heat. So if I take it out of the heat, it'll solid back up. If I put it in more heat, it will melt it all the way down. Either or is fine. It will go from solid to liquid as temperature varies it. But that is what those look like. You can get a pure lard, and that is going to be what you want to make your pastries and dough and everything with. It tastes super great when it's that. Now, if you use one of these lards that's off of like the outside fat and things like that, that's when it don't taste as great. It just tastes like you're eating greasy dough versus super good dough, pie crust or whatever. But anyhow, those are the differences there. And this is a lard, if you can read it on my barely there paper, that I have open next to the stove. As you can see, once you open it, you got to be able to let it breathe. So to do that, I keep a coffee filter over it. Let's see if I can open this one-handed here. Okay, so with the coffee filter over it, and then just because it's in a jar, the band fits perfectly. And then I just reach down in there and scoop out what I'm wanting when I'm cooking. I fry pretty much everything in lard unless my son is here, because he can't have mammal products because of the alpha-gal. So I have to keep cooking oil on hand for him. But pretty much everything else is fried in lard unless we're having beef. If we're having beef, I use tallow. Tallow has a much, much stronger flavor over lard because of where it's from beef fat. So if we're having beef and, you know, grilling veggies or whatever, I'll use tallow. But otherwise, I stick with lard because it's my favorite. And this is just bacon grease. Just another idea of something that I keep on the side of my stove in a very unhealthy manner. But honestly, this is natural, and this is way better for you than, you know, the fake grease and stuff you buy at the store. So let's get down to some of the uses. Okay, so I have how to render it down and the uses and stuff to the lard and tallow in my book here that I wrote, The Ultimate Preserving Guide to Fill Your Pantry, by Sarah Rodriguez. So let's see where it's at in here. Let's see. Find it. I don't know what page it's on. It'll be way easier for me to read it to you. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Okay, rendering fat for lard or tallow, page 57. Okay, so when I was rendering it, I showed Jens this here page with the directions and all of that stuff, and then how to cook it. And this is in its liquid form. See how yellow that is? Liquid lard after straining, nice golden color. It'll turn white as it solidifies. Showed in these here pictures. So, and your uses for lard. Now this ain't all of them. This is just a general list here. So, baking makes great flaky crusts. Frying, canning your meat. I use it, when I say canning meat, I mean I make a broth with it. It's so good. You can replace your butter with it. I recommend having a really good lard for that. Season in your cast iron. It'll burn like in your candles and in your oil lamps and stuff like that. Soap making, hand balm, poultices, cutting oil for cooling machines, rust prevention on metal pieces. I've actually taken it a few times and cleaned up different things. Just, you know, stick it on a paper towel, rub it around on it. And then for tallow, you know, it does great leather conditioning. The lard does too, but tallow also. And soot for birds, you know, when you're cooking, you melt some lard, throw some oats in there, or some whatever you want to feed them, and then put it out to the birds. They love it. Candle making, soap making, laundry soaps. There's so many uses, but it's all written down here in my book. I'll let y'all read it. Like I said, if once you open it, it don't have a time limit on when it expires. It just needs to be able to breathe. So a piece of material, coffee filter, anything like that is great for allowing it to breathe there. And then storage, stored at room temperature, covered. You could freeze the products into measured amounts, store in the fridge for up to 6 months, put it in a freezer, in storage bags, containers, whatever. Or, like I said, I just put mine in a mason jar, it seals it, and it's good to go. It's shelf-stable that way. So, that's it. I mean, it's got a lot of uses once you start thinking about it, you know, and just go with it. But it's a free byproduct of the animal that you don't think of using. So, definitely get your fat and get it rendered down. It'll make your food so much better, especially fried taters. I'm just saying. Anyhow, that's it. That's some uses for lard and tallow.